The perfection program. That's what they call it. It gave me life, but it also caused death. I never asked for any of this. Running from superpowered murderers who want revenge. Revenge for something I did? Something I can't remember. But I won't run. I refuse. I don't want to be controlled anymore. This world needs more heroes than villains. That's more important than anything, isn't it? My existence has to mean something. It has to make a difference somehow. For Virgil. For Aaron. I need to be worth this life I've been given. I need to do what's right. Even if it kills me.
Woo! Wow.
Hi. Hi.
Hello, everyone watching. Let me see. Who do we have? We have Jim Cox and Ian is here. Or is it Solion? What is it? Ian?
Solion.
Solion.
No, it's Solion.
Solion, right.
Solion.
Solion. Oh man.
Welcome.
I gotta rag him with that.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Okay. So, Marinus, how was your day?
Yeah, I'm good. I just went on boxing today, and yeah, and read some comics, made a review. I got some stuff from eBay. I did a little bit of a renovation behind me, and yeah, that's it.
I think I saw your latest review today. This one series that you were done with.
Oh, you mean Sacred Six? Is that what you mean?
No. I forgot the title, man. It was the fifth issue, and you were done with it.
From Beyond, I believe. Something.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm done with that. I mean, I love the premise. You know, it's all in a far future, but it's been also neutered down, right? And then there's some stuff going on, a lot of yapping, a lot of talking, and not enough things that make sense.
Too much talking, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind talking, but if it makes sense, then okay. And then there was one page, then the writer thought, hey, let's look on a sci-fi Wikipedia, copy paste technobabble, and put it in a comic.
Right.
It doesn't make sense, right? This is based on nothing.
Yeah, well, it doesn't move the story forward. It's just 2 pages of rambling. I mean, that's what I do with my reviews. I ramble a lot, but
yeah, it's different when you write. Yeah, it's different when you write. And if you want to write something and sound clever, at least know what you're talking about. Do some research, you know. So yeah. So Roland, how was your day?
Good. We had a nice start day with the sun. Later in the day was a lot of heavy rain and thunder.
Man, this is so typically Dutch. You ask someone, how was your day? And it starts to talk about the weather.
Well, nothing really happened. I went to the birthday of my brother.
Right.
And
congrats, man.
We tried some whiskey, so I'm kind of drunk. But that's okay. I will be fine here.
What, you're drunk right now?
No, not really. A little bit.
I've never seen you drunk, man.
No. I never need to be drunk when I'm around you.
Right. Welcome, Bristolian Dave. All right, me babbers.
Hey, Dave, man.
Hey, Dave.
Right. Cool. So, guys, we were discussing new topics, and a little while ago, Roland, you suggested that we had an episode about European comics.
Yeah, I thought, why not? And let's talk about the differences. What makes European comics different than Americans?
Yeah.
Because in the premise, they are already not comics. They are not funnies, like the typical American phrase of comics began that there were short funnies. And the size is bigger. Mostly the stories are more mature. But I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion.
Sure.
And I thought, okay, we have a Dutch angle here. Let's have our Dutch angle, let loose on differences of the Europeans, and let's bring on some very, very awesome, we think awesome European comics.
Sure. So how do you think we can define a European comic? Does it have to be a comic that is made in Europe, or does it have to be made by Europeans, or does it have to do with the format?
That's a good question.
It's a good question. I think European comics would be considered made in Europe, but Europe consists of a lot of cultures. You have the French culture is quite a big comic culture, but what's the best translation for stripverhalen, strip albums? That's already what I'm doubting on. We have comics, they're like flops in the US, and you have the European comics. Basically, they're most bigger.
Yeah.
They are usually hardcover,
right?
Yes. And they are not monthly. They usually are annually, or whenever the creator feels it's time to release it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Then again, I'm a purchaser in the Netherlands. Even French comics, German comics, they will be published in the Netherlands, translated and packaged differently. So I also don't know if the original strip albums or the bigger hardcover comics are originally also released in that sense in their native country. So I don't know how to define it. For me, they're always oversized. They're a big chunk bigger than the American ones.
Yeah. Like Bristolian Dave said, A4 format.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Coming right back. I wanted to show you guys something later.
Yeah, man. Sure.
All right. And there are no commercials in there, no advertisements. You just read one book. They are more expensive, of course.
Yeah, they take longer to make. It's usually very detailed.
And usually one or two creators. Usually it's the writer and the artist, or just the writer and also the artist. But there is no different colorist. There's no different penciler. Of course, there are examples where you have them, but
they can switch creative teams after a few years, but usually the same team stays on one title for a long time. And another difference with the American format is that these European books are usually one contained story. So you can have multiple adventures with the same characters, but each book is independent from the other.
Yeah. And they're not bound on 21 or 32 pages. They can be more. So I think the best translation is a really genuine graphic novel, because they read like novels as well. I think that's the biggest difference. Let's call these comics. These are kind of based on the funnies from the US, and like flip-flops. And the European graphic novels are more sturdy, heavier, more pages. It's really like a graphic novel in that sense.
Right. Yeah,
that's one description. I think the packaging. I don't know if Marinus is now not here to confirm or contradict me.
So, but Soul Eon says this is completely up Sim's alley, but I'm hesitant to tell him since he'll talk about the meta barons. again. Well, bring him on, man.
Yeah,
Barons.
I don't know what meta barons are.
Yeah.
And then is there? Oh, here's Marinus. Yeah, give
Meta barons.
Oh, there we go.
1500 made. This is big.
Holy crap! Look at that.
Whoa, it's a Bible.
And
that's enormous.
Yeah, it's
whoa
heavy.
It's the complete collection.
It's the complete collection. It's been numbered. I'm number. Let me double check. If you can see it. Where is it? Number. It's in here. Well, it's. Yeah, my resolution is shit. I know it.
No, we trust you, man. We trust.
But yeah, the light sucks too. But let's say this is a space opera of the scale of what Star Wars could be if they went all out.
Right.
I can show you some art here. It's by the way, it's full of nudity and blood and gore.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get in trouble with this.
Yeah.
With YouTube.
Nah.
But
as long as you don't show any nipple, then we'll be good.
Well,
that's difficulty with nudity.
Yeah.
Is this okay? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely not okay. I'm okay with it, but I don't think YouTube is okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we have something like this.
That's epic, man.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
wow, it looks awesome. The artwork as well. Never heard of it.
Oh man, you need to check
it out. But that's the thing. I'm not really that much into European comics, so I don't really know what's on the market. There's so much. Dave and I already discussed it before. There's doing the research for this episode. There's so much to find out and discover. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's
really nice.
Look,
yeah,
these are masterpieces, you know.
Yeah.
This is not something you can churn out every month.
The time when like in the 80s or 90s when you were having these comics, they were colored in a certain way. You know, they were flat colored basically.
Yeah.
And the European comics at the time, they were coloring with paint and oil paint. So that's already a different in making the art for your graphic novels and comics. And now, you know, with the coloring, the digital coloring comics do now, there is improvement on a lot of colors. But this is amazing. But there is a difference as well. I think European comics also do more digital coloring now, but you still see a lot of handcraft.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I was lucky to have this edition. There are multiple editions, there are smaller editions. And these are only, I believe, 1,500 made in the whole world. And I was lucky to get one of them. It cost me a fortune.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I bet.
Like a second payment on the house.
Well, I think you started basically with the crown jewel then.
Yeah.
Now it only gets worse, because I do have a gripe with European comics. They are not always the better quality. And they are, you know, we talked about the formats. So how many pages, the cover. I think also the stories are more... Now Marinus came with the science fiction thing. So a lot of European comics are science fiction or fantasy. Yeah. But usually they are also serious and grounded in with World War II stories, a lot of World War II stories. A lot of stories that
that's art, man. That's phenomenal.
Awesome.
The Meta Barons. Check it out, guys. Definitely worth a buy. Freaking heavy, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I when I read this comic, I put, it sounds weird. I never do that, but I put some plastic gloves on because I was so afraid that I just smudged the pages, right? Because it's on such a limited edition, and also it's so beautiful,
right?
Beautiful white pages.
So you don't have the single issues. You only have this format. This.
Yeah. No, I don't have the single issues, and there's also spin-offs of that a little bit. A couple of spin-offs. We have also the Fourth World. That's also all connected together. And the artist, I believe he died last year.
Oh no.
It's called Jodorowsky Jimenez. Jodorowsky Jimenez.
Where is this made? Who made this? Where is he from? It sounds like
I have to
the East Bloc, Poland, maybe.
Jimenez, Philippines.
Let me Google it real
No,
quick.
But yeah, it looks great. So, but you read the entire story?
Not yet, because I was busy with other stuff.
Right.
Yeah. No. We have the. Okay. No. I haven't read the whole story yet, but it's a big epic space saga. It's fantastic. It's too complex to explain what's going on, because I have it's just overflowing with stuff going on.
So Ian says, read a lot of European comics as a kid, as my village had a library on wheels that came every week. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I made a mistake. Sorry.
And you could borrow.
I made a mistake. It's written by Alejandro Jodorowsky and drawn by Juan Jimenez. So
Juan. Okay.
Juan.
Alejandro.
Juan. Yeah. Juan.
Okay, so basically a mobile library where you can trade comic books and such. That's cool.
Puerto Rico.
They released nine albums of this series, started in 1996 and ended in 2010.
Yeah.
At least the Dutch translated version.
Right.
Of Meta Baronnen.
Didn't they also release this in comic book format?
No. Well, it's also mostly in trade paperback, but not in floppies or something.
Right.
Mostly, big, like strips or a strip.
Okay. All right.
But mostly collected editions or trades and etc. Or it's not really a trade, more like a graphic novel, right? Because
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Alejandro is from Chile. He's been working as a film director, comic author, and actor since 1957 already.
Yeah.
And he is he the artist of the Inkle? The writer of the Inkle.
Yeah.
With Mobius, right?
Right, exactly.
I still need to buy the Inkle. Wow.
Yeah, I need
to. He made a lot of... But this is not European, Marinus. This is not European.
What's that? Why not?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Meta Barons. Are we talking about the same one? Am I making a mistake? Meta Barons.
If he's from Chile, I don't consider this European.
Well, okay, but it went very popular in European.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Right. So, but
yeah, okay.
But American style comics made by Europeans are technically not European comics.
Well, technically they are, but let's go back in nowadays with the small world we're living in. Everybody is influenced by everything. The French love anime and manga, and they make a lot of anime manga themselves. But let's go back a few years in time, and then you have more differences. You really see more differences between the American and the European style comics and graphic novels.
Right, we have a request for Marinus. Marinus, can you read this?
Seashells on the seashore.
Seashells on the seashore.
Oh, so okay, I didn't read it. Oh man, so.
Right, Bristolian Dave asks, are they European if they are made by a European living in America? Yeah, man,
yeah, we're going there.
like this complicated thing. So I think it's more it has to do with the format. So you see the comic, you see the book, it has this European style to it, you know. And that's different
like,
from the US comics.
And now I need to be careful because now I'm grabbing books and I don't know actually if they are written and drawn by Europeans now anymore.
Oh, right.
What do you got? Show us.
Well, these albums. These are, you know, not superhero albums at all.
No. Most things we're going to show today are not superhero related.
No. These are love letters. These are.
I saw something.
Yeah, there is some nudity. That's European. That's European style. So you have a graphic novel, you have a story, but when two people are lying in bed, of course, usually they are naked or wear pajamas. But in the Congo, I probably think they're naked and they have sex. So usually you see naked stuff. But the most of the story, there is no boob inside anymore.
No.
It's just a love story or how this woman gets entangled with in a colony possessed or situation.
Functionality in comics.
It needs more boobs.
Yeah.
Well, there are some. I thought this one probably has a lot of boobs, to be honest. Yeah. But anyway, so you have more nudity in European comics.
Yeah.
And functional, you know, they don't cover it up. It's just part of the world building, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sure. Just like the nudity in Dutch movies was functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're more serious. There are a lot of serious. They're not that this fantasy stories. You have real, like if you would compare it with the movies, you go to an art house movie basically.
Yeah.
For you Americans who watch movies, you have European movies, you know, and I think Americans usually view European movies as kind of, you know, weird movies that you don't see for the big public.
It's not Hollywood. It's not Hollywood.
But in the movies, of course, there's also a big difference between European movies and Hollywood movies. Right. And I think it's exactly the same in the comics.
Sure. Well, these are mediums that evolved separate from each other. So that's why they are different, and later on you get influences from both sides. So it started to grow more together, but still you can see these differences clearly.
What I remember from my youth, that's why I. It's not Hollywood. It's the kind of way. Yeah. What I remember mostly from my childhood with reading European comics is like these things, like football. A lot of football.
Oh, right, yeah.
Roel Dijkstra. Oh, cool.
And but it's called Roel Dijkstra, but it's written by it's written by a Dutch guy probably, so that's not translated. Yeah. But it's the art is by Keith Watson. Doesn't sound like a Dutch guy.
No.
Or these a lot of race comics.
Oh yeah, like Michel Vaillant.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah. You have
Marvel should sell those. They love race.
Yeah.
The Brokkenmakers.
Oh man, that's. Jesus.
And I really this is I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if they are American because Brokkenmakers is very American kind of comics. My camera's acting up. But look at the details already in the art, and this is from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe a fun fact. European comics doesn't show well when it comes to covers. What's on the cover is also inside.
Yeah,
so it's not like, you know, oh, we hire a completely different artist, you know, and then put shit art in it like Marvel is doing.
But this is already, you know, coloring in these comics. It has already gradients. It has. When I compare American comic from the same time, it's just flat colors. This is already. Graded, you know. Yeah. Dan Cooper. I don't know if you know a lot of these comics with airplanes and jet fighters. Buck Denny as well. I don't know. It's kind of shiny.
Yeah.
And what you see here on the cover, if you go, this is a bit more flat colored, but still, there are some shadings in there as well.
Yeah, but this is probably from the 70s.
Yeah, 80s, 70s. But you already see that the examples I was shown, it's more realistic drawn.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Oh, of course we have our funnies. I just had one here. We have these. Of course we have these.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. I had Valiant. I don't know where I left it now.
Yeah, Monsieur Valiant is a car race guy, if you will.
Yeah.
He has a lot of adventures. I got a comic for Mr. Bristolian Dave.
Right.
It's called Clifton. Clifton is a British guy. He was, I believe, some kind of investigator, or he was from MI5, and this comic is very cartoony but serious at the same time, but also with jokes in it, and it actually works. For instance, speaking of colors, so let me let's say here, this is Clifton. Yes, he's doing the housekeeping, and he's also getting mad, and he has also a beautiful looking Rolls car, something like that. I'm not sure what kind of car that is, but it's full of action packed, but in a very cartoon style.
Yeah, but still, these vehicles, they're so realistic.
Yeah. You have cartoony characters, but usually the architecture, the vehicles, they are drawn realistically.
Yeah. For instance, like here, he's in the truck. He drives away.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's really cool. I got not a lot of Clifton, but I love the character, and also with the British food and tea time, and it's all in there. Yeah, it's
so it's made by English people.
No,
right? Not
De Groot and Turk, and I believe they're
right.
guys. Let me double check.
So they put
yeah.
So they're not from England, so they just put all the cliches in there.
Yeah, it's called basically it's 7 Days to Die. So it also has a James Bond title. And,
indeed.
Like I said, there's some cool action here with serious motifs and tones. Sorry for my very bad resolution.
Yeah, I think I know this one.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
I'm looking for example. Here's Michael Valiant, one example.
Yeah.
Oh, one sec.
Yeah,
man,
it's a lot of racing, a lot of airplanes, a lot of World War II stories, and yeah, we have a lot of those.
No, Dave, I don't know what a Yorkshire pudding is because I'm not coming from your country.
Let's take a minute to say hi to Ryu.
Hey, Ryan.
Hi, Ryu.
Hello, man. He says, I see Dan Cooper, Baghdani. No way, Baghdani is alive, like Michel Valiant.
Yeah.
Valiant.
Dan Cooper, I had it here.
Yeah.
And
so there's a lot of,
Valiant.
And welcome to Higgs Villain. Welcome, man.
Eurotrip.
No, Eurotrip is definitely not a European movie. I believe you have German guys playing Dutch guys.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Is it French? I don't know. Guus Vlater. Is it French?
I'm not sure if he's French. I believe.
Well,
I think his.
Oh man, that's old.
His original name is Gaston.
Yeah, it is.
Gaston.
So those are the funniest.
Do you guys know this one? I'm sorry. Leonardo?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh no, I know. Yeah, I know with the weird cap.
Yeah, so Leonardo is an inventor, and in the Middle Ages or something, and he always invents crazy stuff. And he has an apprentice, and apprentice is also how do you say, used for, you know, testing these these inventions, by the way. And it's a comedy, as you can, well, I hope you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
A lot of white space with all the beard.
Yeah, exactly. And mostly they are very short stories, but sometimes also very lengthy.
I always wondered why they had condoms on their heads.
Condoms. Yeah, and they also used technology in there that has been used now, but then in the, you know, in the Middle Ages.
Right.
So like blinking lights and stuff, and now he's playing Father Christmas, or how do you say, or the, not Father Christmas, but the, you know, that guy from the North Pole.
Yeah.
So yeah, and from the, but also here, going in space, although they are living in the Middle Ages, so they invent a. So it's very silly humor, but you know, as a kid, I love that, and it's the same with Robin Hood. So we have also this one. It's the same artist, but that is Robin Hood of, you know, from the movies and from the books. So, and then it's the same, how do you say, art style with a sheriff. And instead of, you know, he's an evil sheriff, he's a bad sheriff, but then more like a funny way, if you will. Oh, man, the light is so bad here. Sorry.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, we have also the Teutonics, armored guys.
Yeah, now you're going into the Asterix and Obelix kind of area.
Right, that kind of style, yeah.
Also, yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, hardcover signs.
So,
yeah,
Bristolian Dave asks why Hood is spelled with an E. That's because it's the Dutch way of writing Hood. So okay, I can show you. Probably every person knows who Asterix and Obelix in the whole world. I hope so. I mean, yeah, man.
I mean, I don't have to show you, but when it comes to you know, it's comedy. It's in the, how do you say, in the times of the Romans with with Asterix and Obelix. They are how do you say? Well, they call them savages, but they are, what are they? Are they
Gauls, right?
Yeah, they are Gauls. I was forgetting how they were called in real life. I mean, and then of course the introduction, who they are.
Yeah.
You know, all of the characters. I mean,
I love these. When I was young.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
I read these like 50 times. It's fantastic.
Do you remember?
And did you also read the Asterix books after the writer died?
No. Because at some point I just stopped collecting them.
Yeah, the artist Uderzo.
Yeah.
He continued. So he wrote his own albums, like I think 2 of them, and I got them, but they were really bad. The art was fantastic, like always, but the story made little sense, you know. So the strength of Asterix was really the combination of the writer and the artist. And now Asterix is still continued, but with a completely different creative team, and they've adopted the old style, so you hardly see any difference.
Really?
Yeah,
that's great.
That's quite a difference of the Suske Wiske we have here. I don't know if what the correct name of Suske Wiske in English.
Google it. Let's Google it.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can Google it. I will tell my story.
Siski and Whiskey.
Siski and Whiskey. They are from the Belgium creator Willy van der Steen, and they barely changed in style. Well, a bit, of course. Every artist changed style a bit, but I don't know when he died. I think the studio of Willy van der Steen continued making Suske Wiskes in his style, but somehow in the last few years they really made some adult spin-offs that, you know, Suske Wiske were always kids. They've been kids for 30 years.
Right.
And now
the Amoros series,
the
you mean?
Amoros, yeah, the Amoros series.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jon Rommeke is has became a superhero.
Yes.
Maybe because it's Romano Molenaar who does the artwork. He's original, a Dutch artist that started his comic career in the US, drawing superhero comics. So maybe it's that, but
it's called Luke and Lucy at some point.
Oh, right.
Luke and Lucy.
Well,
Okay.
not to confuse with Lukey Luke, because we also have that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Funny thing about J-Rom, which was the
oh yeah, J-Rom.
Yeah, J-Rom, which was drawn by Romano Molenaar.
Yeah.
And it put Jerome in the superhero role, and it has this classic American superhero style, because that's what this artist does, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a weird combination to see something from Suske and Wiske in superhero style. Yeah.
Do you? This is an old one. I don't know if you.
Natasha.
Yeah. A stewardess.
So a lot of
Stewardess,
cartoon characters, but you already noticed that the technology and architecture, it's always drawn pretty realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this is a lot of small panels, a lot of text. But they had that in the American comics as well.
Yeah.
I think what's important to the difference between U.S. or American market comics and European comics is the storytelling. There's a lot of, it's more adventure, in my opinion.
The European or the American?
American. No, I'm sorry. European comics are more adventure, and U.S. comics or American comics are more like fast-paced science fiction. Well, that's not science fiction, but more superhero-esque.
Yeah.
Focused. And that's why there is a lot of panels in these European comics, and that is why the flow of the story is way different. Because sometimes if I read an American comic or a US comic, it doesn't make sense when it comes to flow because it's so quick. But when at one page some person, jumps and you see the jump on, per panel, and they talk someone and they see different angles and from different sides, and then they talk. And then basically the whole movement of jumping and action is in one page instead of in two panels.
Yeah.
It mostly happens in,
right.
in the American comics.
I think the Europeans usually are more focused on storytelling and compressed storytelling. I mean, the Dutch one, Franca, maybe you know.
Franca, yeah.
It's a really simple, it's really beautiful drawn, very simple lines. The stories are amazing. They're really like detective stories as well, but also about her personal life. And just look at the interiors. They're the way she's drawn. She's really beautiful drawn, but yet simplistic, but not cartoony.
Yeah.
And,
but it's not easy to draw this simplistic. It looks simple, but you really have to know your anatomy, and the architecture is always fantastic. And
yeah, look here, the helicopter with the architecture in there.
And that's incredible.
When I just had a page where she and Franca and her boyfriend had a fight. So there were a lot of panels because they're fighting. So there were a lot of talking or here. So a lot of text because it's a fight. So, and then there are other pages with almost no text, but a lot of action. Yeah,
exactly.
See?
So it's the other way around.
Yeah. So here they have a nice night out. So they are going for some nudity, naughty adventures.
Well, that's the cool thing about the pacing. You can direct the pacing of the story, so the reader goes faster through pages without text. So most action scenes move very quickly, and then you have these intimate scenes where people bicker, and they have more text. And it gives the moment more power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good, man. Welcome, David Feed. Welcome, man.
Hey, David.
Mr. Feed.
Is David German?
I believe he's from Switzerland.
Switzerland. I'm sorry, Dave, to offend you. We're talking about European comics. So you being from Switzerland, you probably also have experience and opinion about it.
Yeah, right. So some famous artists or writers from,
especially from
Switzerland.
The German, Austrian language area. You know, I don't think we have a lot of art books or comic books or graphic novels from that area. It's mostly Belgium, France, some Italy, Italian, UK.
Yeah, some cultures are comics are more prominent, like Belgium and France. You know, but Scandinavia, not so much. I don't think so.
I don't know. That's a good one as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think they're also specific. You know, like a lot of Dutch, French as well. Like I said, a lot of grounded stories set in World War II or in history, European history, or just comics that handle everyday lives. You know, it's just this is about normal teenage couple that goes through teenage stuff and hang out with friends and having
it's basically like
the
European version of manga, where they have every theme, you know.
Yeah, like this is just the cover already says it all. It's just about a girl and a boy and their friends at school time. And then you have like these, it's like drama and intrigue and detective or
it's more slow paced.
As well. And what also the artwork is, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just
fantastic.
Somehow it's different. And I think I gain more appreciation for European comics when I get older.
Yeah.
Right.
What I also like is I rag about on my YouTube channel, Darksyde Comics. Subscribe, like, yeah. A little bit of self promotion here. I rag about a lot of backgrounds and detail, and it comes from European comics. When it comes to European comics, there's a lot of wide shots, a lot of you see a guy running or fleeing or investigating or have action, but then you see at the same time in a very small panel the background of the city or the car or the inside. There's a lot of details surrounding it that immerses you basically in what's happening in the comic. What I'm seeing lately a lot with American comics is there's a lot of very close up like this, and then some color palettes behind it, or it's empty, and that's basically for the whole book. And it helps me a lot.
Yeah, when you see the background, for example, that's standard US comic, and there's action in the front, and you see in the back there's a car flipping over, but the car is barely recognizable as a car. It's just it's 4 bumps, and there's a cube, and that's a car. When this action panel would be in a European comic, you see the action in the front, but you see the background is as detailed. Yeah. And you can almost recognize the brand car, because I think a lot of comics I have here, it's a mess here, but most of the comics, you recognize the French cars, you recognize the German cars. It seems like they really put effort in their art to make it recognizable, because it's so grounded. They want to have these details right. I think it's also a kind of proudness that we have a rich history. I don't know what, but it's like Marinus said, it's kind of it's full top, it shows.
It shows. Well, to be fair, of course, American comics needs to be put out monthly. But in the 80s and the 90s, there's a lot of detail in American comics. Like in Wildcats, like in the Fantastic Four, or in the Superman comic. But now, I don't know. It's just the last couple of years. It's just beautiful Photoshop colors and just mediocre details in comics. It's just the quality shrinks, if you will.
There were some issues where they had a photographed background, just black and white, and put that behind the hero in the US comic.
Yeah.
I even in the Todd McFarlane comics, I notice sometimes.
Yeah.
And but I know they're pressured. They go into this US system, you know, they're pressured, need to bring out a story 21 pages each month. Mm-hmm. And the European comics, it's like half year, 1 year, and they take their time.
Yeah.
But I think also has to do with culture wise, because I think artists here can get subsidies on certain length or from art or from the art department from the government. And I don't think the US artists get that or are able to have any incentive to do that. And here there are programs to help artists with, because everywhere the comic business or the strip business is niche. It's not that widespread anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So Marinus, did you hear of the aasgieren?
Yes. Yeah, it's aasgieren is what's the English word of that? The vultures.
Right.
It's two vampire couples. One they all dressed in leather, red, and one has black hair, a beard, very masculine, open chest with hair popping, and the female is also black, long hair, very sensual, very sexy. It's a beautiful looking comic about vampires. Really good.
Right. So Ian says they're often trying to cut costs in American comics right now, not just in terms of art, but also considering the quality of writers and editors. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a big issue nowadays. I don't know in the 80s and 90s, or at let's say the high days of the comics, just in the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. Did they have these problems as well? I think always the US tries to make dollar. Do they not try to make profits?
Yeah.
Sure. I think the 90s, when Image started, there was a problem with editors. Later on, stories became better, but American comics were pretty well regulated with editing for quite some time, and that's when you got the best quality stories.
Yeah. In the US comics, usually you work with teams, like we said in the beginning, with the inker, letterer, colorist, penciler, writer, different people. European comics is usually 1-2 creators, writer and artist, or just the writer and artist, the same person. And the publishers, Marvel has a lot of characters under their publishing name. But the European comics, they are published by publishers, and the publishers don't claim the rights of characters.
No.
You have, you have so many publishers here, basically.
So this is from, I believe, Lombard.
Yeah.
Lombard.
But Lombard doesn't own this character. It's from the creator.
Yeah, and the creator is this guy. He's it's Michel Wayland. He's from Belgium, from Brussels. And he, what is his character? And this is some area of Araya is some kind of an Amazon. And speaking of detail, what I'm ragging about the whole fucking time.
Yeah, look at that, man.
I remember this comic. I love this artwork. I love the character. When we are speaking sometimes and we're complaining about, not to have a lot of strong female women as heroines. These people who are claiming this never been in the 80s. They never saw any story coming out from the 80s. There are so many strong female women. We already shown here Franca, Aria. We had Natasha. They are all strong women as a heroine.
Yeah, this is basically Red Sonja. Aria is basically Red Sonja.
Or maybe red hair.
Yeah, except that blonde Sonja. And it has also mature themes, like blood and guts and nudity and the whole stuff. It's very European-like because that's normal. And that's why we don't bat an eye when we see a boob or a leg or a butt or something, because we don't care. We all grew up with this. We are not being,
We just see it as a part of the human body. That's it.
Exactly. So we don't feel weird about it, like most, people from America who are, has probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sex industry in the whole world. But then cry about a boob in a, how do you say?
But not about gore and guts.
In gore and guts, exactly. So yeah, hope you see this a little bit more detail.
Yeah,
like we said.
Scene.
Yeah,
and it's like we said, it's just a natural part of storytelling. When a character gets in a fight and the clothes get ripped, of course you will see maybe a nip shining through the threaded cloth.
Sure.
Yeah. And
that's
exactly. One of my favorites European comics of all time is I still need to collect them all. Is Torgal.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man,
cool.
Torgal is my one of my favorites. What is Torgal? Torgal is basically the last child of the stars. It seems that in the storyline of the comic that he is a child of a group of people that fled the Earth, go to the stars to, I don't know, repopulate or something. They come back, the ship is crashing down, and he is one of the last survivors. But he's being rescued by, let me double check because I don't know all the details from my head anymore. He is being saved by a guy called, where is he?
By that guy.
By that guy, yeah. Well, it seems that it's been in the 18th and the 9th century, somewhere in the middle of, and somewhere in the Scandinavian lands. I got another here. There are a lot of comics about this. And he's been saved by a king, I believe, or an important person. And from the moment that this comic started, he is already in a relationship with his wife, Aricia. And they have kids. And it seems that Torgal, from his race, has some kind of powers, but it's not really shown. But then his wife, Yolan and Wolfin, they have different powers, but not like superhero powers, because Wolfin can talk to wolves and animals, and Jolin can, have, I believe, manipulate molecular structure. But the fun fact is, although it's in Scandinavia, there are trolls, there's fairies, there are monsters, there are sea snakes, also people from other dimensions. So it's a mix of sci-fi, even horror at some points, or thriller-like. And to give you a glimpse of what the art is looking like, now let's say here. So this is one of the female, and they go to another plane, and then we see here luscious green, luscious surroundings.
It's all painted.
It's all painted.
Water paint, yeah.
It's really cool done, even rainbows. So it has also some Asgardian lore in it, with Thor and with the gods of that era. So we have a creepy masked hooded figure that looks like Dr. Doom in this creepy tower here. So there's a lot of things going on.
So imagine this, man. Every panel of this book is painted.
Yeah.
And these artists, they often have to struggle to make their living. And then you have like these stylistic painters. They paint some shit and put it on canvas, and it sells for 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope, I believe there's also English translated versions of this, and I believe a lot of people from America starting to discover these kind of comics. Oh, well, you cannot really call them comics, but you know what I mean. Because of the
they're graphic novels.
Graphic novels, indeed.
They really are.
They really are graphic novels. Indeed.
That's beautiful, man.
It looks fantastic. And Torgal is he's a typical good guy, but at the same time, he does everything to save himself, of course, but also his family is number one. He does everything for his family. He almost died a couple of times, and then the gods bring him back because the gods believe in him, although, and that's the fun thing, he comes from the stars, so there's a lot of science fiction elements in it.
Right.
That's it. Well, okay.
Excellent.
So yeah, Forgal. I got a lot of them, not all of them. I'm collecting them. Definitely check these out. Forgal.
Yeah.
Or Torgal. Torgal.
Yeah, and then you have this, and you compare that with the latest issue of Ninjak. You know, which people praise. Oh, Ninjak's fantastic, it's phenomenal, but these people cannot draw. It's compared. If you compare it to this, these are trained professionals. You know, they worked really hard for the craft and getting better. And these are artists. I don't know, man. It's a weird world. Let's go to some comments.
Yeah,
the chat is very busy today, man. I really love that.
Good. Let's get into the chat.
Yeah, let me see. Vampire. What? David Feet says, I like some batshit crazy stuff like Requiem, the Vampire Knight, and Chronicles of the Black Moon.
If you see the Meta Barons, imagine vampires, ultra gore, over the top, beautiful paint. I need to show you this.
yeah. Take your time, man.
Well, you'll look into it. We'll go to another comment from the chat.
Right. Let's see. Dan Soul Iron says they're often trying to cut costs in America. We got that one. Then we have. Those are most recent problems, and also sometimes tied to ongoing nepotism and ideology.
Yeah, that's a thing I don't
he's
see.
Referring to the editor bit we were talking about.
But that's the thing. We don't see those, even though the European comics are usually made by one person or two persons. We don't see a lot of ideology in there, to be honest. At least not in the old comics. And like I said, we already had a lot of strong female women in European comics.
Yeah.
A lot less so on other races. Usually in the 80s and the 70s, there were not a lot of different colored people in Europe. Not as much as there is now. So of course it will be more white people featuring the comics, but there is also a change.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Then we have David.
Can you give me the platform?
The Troll of Troy. Yeah, I wanted to go there because it is. David has a comment here. Troll of Troy is a pretty wacky French comic with the main protagonist is a chick. Yes, that lives in human-eating trolls. Yeah. And I have the most recent.
This is a Troll of Troy is a spin-off, I believe, of this
of
guy,
Landfirst
of Troy. And this is a Landfirst Odyssey, and we have also Landfirst of the Stars. So basically, this is a fantasy world, and this is the troll that David is talking about. And it's his companion, and everybody in this universe can have one superpower. But there's an ivory tooth, I believe, and it's very rare. And if somebody picks it up, they can have all the powers of the worlds if they are in the vicinity of that person. So basically, they can change from matter manipulation to creating fire, or have the elements, or wind and whatever power that you actually get. If you are in the near of a bakery, you can cook and bake. Very cool. Well, that's also a sorcery power, by the way. Also, again, it's been a long time because that I've read this comic, and look at that.
Wow. The artwork is amazing.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful. Yeah,
this.
If the camera, if the art is not really showing on Marinus' camera, I just placed a cover.
Right. Oh yeah, you can switch back.
I shared a screen here, and then you can see the amazing art. The line work is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the recent series of the Thinker, but it's a different artist. But I really love this artist. It's here.
Oh, Echo.
Echo. It's drawn such it's like liquid. It's so beautiful art. But it's what I love. You know, you have the inspiration across the world. There's a little manga there, a little US. They're influencing each other in storytelling and in graphics. But I think mostly the storytelling is very European in these series, while the art looks gorgeous with a mix of the best worlds of, you know, the US art, some manga art, and the French visual storytelling.
If I may ask a question to Jim Cox, Jim, are you from, where are you from? Are you from Europe, or are you from the US, or somewhere else? Because I believe like Forgal or maybe Landfirst of Troy, they also have American versions, maybe digital if you want, on Comixology. There's a lot of there. If you don't, you know, get the printed versions. Why not try one of those, especially, you know, what you are seeing here in this stream? Just check one out and see if you like it. If you are accustomed to, you know, American comics, this is completely changed, but I think you really, really liked it. Although it's, you know, like a graphic novel, there's more text, but there's a lot of, how do you say, nice flow of the story, and you get really immersed in the world, what they are creating, right? So it's more like slow paced, but at the same time, when the actions are going, it's going fast, it's going hard, and it's more balls to the walls. It's more, you know, R-rated.
That's what Jim likes.
I'm in the US. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, check maybe your local book store if there are some comics that you can order or something, or maybe try one on Comixology for a couple of bucks. I really think you'll like it.
We also can put some recommendations for European comics in the subscription, can't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good idea.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Our favorite book. We can put it in the description of this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Because this one is also one of my favorites.
Convoy.
What's
that?
It's a science.
Tell us about Convoy, man.
It's a science fiction comic about a girl. She's being discovered in a backwater planet. It's only her and her big tiger cat, basically.
Oh.
And she's being discovered by this alien race, so she's just hunting and minding her own business.
Oh,
and of course, he has an origin story. And then there's this big convoy, kind of Battlestar Galactica. You have a big convoy with different races, and they are traveling the galaxy. And apparently, this girl was manipulated, or there has an origin story that she's a very keen fighter and strong, fast learner.
Roland,
and
pages on screen, please.
Yeah, this is just in the beginning. She's hunting with her.
Freaking fantastic.
The panel layout is nice.
Oh man.
Yeah, and the art is so fluid. And this is the first number, and the art wasn't as good as the later numbers. And if you look at, for example, the end, I'm going now to the end. Well, spoiler. I don't know if my camera is blurry again. That's a bit shame. But you see already the art on the spaceships.
Yeah. Oh man.
And this is just very zoomed in. And then she realized they captured her and recreated her planet in this battle, or in this starship. And well, there the story comes. This is volume 1. Yeah, I think there are several. I think 12 volumes now.
Yeah.
The art looks beautiful. The storylines are intriguing. You have different kind of story, lines, very action, spy kind of storylines. There's political intrigues in there. So treason storylines.
Yeah.
So it encapsulates everything. It's a really cool series to watch, to look out for. Convoy.
I got one recommendation maybe for Jim. If you like, like the mature comics, and I don't mean, lots of blood and guts or nudity or something, although it's mostly a European comic, except for the blood and guts. I recommend Storm from Don Lawrence. Dave, can you share the screen for me? Can I share the screen?
Sure, man.
Yeah, so this is Storm. Storm is a astronaut. He flies in, I believe, the spot of Jupiter, and then he, flies thousands and thousands of years into the future, and he lands on Earth again. And you say, well, it's probably post-apocalyptic. Well, yes and no, because people are going a little bit back in, when it comes to barbarians, but there's also different races from other planets. There's a lot of science fiction in here. As you can see, this is the art. This is not a cover. This is the art of the artist, Don Lawrence. He passed away, unfortunately. And he met this girl called Red Hair. That's just her name. And as you can see here, this is one of the interior pages. It's a mix between old science fiction and the technology that we have here. So Storm recognizes some technology that was from his world, but the people that are living there thousands of years in the future have no clue. So they always look like towards Storm and say, what kind of goof you are and how do you know that? Like a car or like a bomber from 1942, right? Or some kind of a technology that resembles the technology that they have when Storm was on his timeline. For instance, here, this is a spaceship. This story is beautiful. So Storm is now like a barbarian warrior, but not always. But in this issue, he is. And the fun fact is that he needs money or something, or he just enters a contest. And the contest is opening up the spaceship. So there's an old guy. The old guy says, hey, he is some kind of a games master or something, and he wants to get in there as well. But they have no idea that this is actually a spaceship. They think this is some kind of a god or some monolithic structure that made by the gods, if you will. And so they are going there, but every time they take a step, the defense mechanisms of the ship is getting activated. So every year, a group of warriors try to get there. So step by step by step, they are coming closer and closer. But through the years, people are dying every fucking time. So, but when Storm is inside, he recognizes some technology because the defense mechanisms are hard holograms, lasers, and whatnot technology. And the old guy says, no, don't touch that, it's mine, etc. And basically Storm takes over, and instead of killing and murdering all these companions like this woman here, he tries to rescue them, because he explains that this is nothing more than old technology from the past. And that kind of storytelling really got me. And let's see if I can show you something more. Okay, then I want to, for like this, Legend of Yggdrasil. This is a group of dinosaurs, sentient, and they are looking for their god, Yggdrasil. And Yggdrasil is basically the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Rex. And this is basically a warrior. It's not really an enemy. It's more like a friend, but they have to, battle each other. I mean, look at this art. If I can, I'm not sure if I can make it bigger. Probably not.
Yeah, I have a similar one here somewhere.
Yeah, so this is basically the art through the whole book. It's painted. It took years to create it, probably 2 years per book. And Romano Molinar is taking over because Don Lawrence is passing away, unfortunately, years back. So if you want some really high, cool-looking sci-fi comic, a European comic, Storm is absolutely the way to go. Maybe I can show you a little bit more. Just give me a second. Let me Google it real quick.
Yeah, it could be, Jim.
Yeah, I have Storm here as well, Marinus. I have a lot of images open.
Oh, wait a minute. Just give me just 1 second. So, for instance, here's the art. This is number 1 when he is entering the world in this space suit. As you can see, it's all painted. It's beautifully done. But I am leaving this. Stop sharing. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
This is a very example. If you just blow up your screen, put it on full screen, you already can see the details. It's all painted. Every little skin part, is painted, and the interiors are as detailed as the covers.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the storytelling is really good because there's a lot of known factors from Storm. He's the typical like Forgal. He's like Forgal, but then like more an adventurer, and then he meets a group of people that travel with him, and they are becoming his group, like Red Hair, and there's a guy in he looks like a black guy, but then all in red, and he's a prince. And he's very vain. He always runs around half naked, with the body's open. He always flexes, and he finds himself very great. And Red Hair is basically, again, Red Sonja. She is amazing. She has also now have her own series. But Storm is the hero, but he's never, really on the forefront. It's more like a whole group together. Although he's the hero, and you see his deeds and his adventures, because it's basically his story. But his companions also get the same treatment that he is in his comic. So they are all equal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and you see here interior, you see the architecture or the old kind of Venice kind of buildings with ships in the background, with planets, but also his technology. I have example here I can share.
Dave, that's not going to stop you from buying this comic.
No, man, and they're still being made. After 1992, they still made Storm.
Yeah, and Don Lawrence from the UK. So
one time you gotta go for it.
Yeah.
So his paintings are just astonishing.
This is art, man. You can just frame this, blow it up, and frame this, put it on your wall. Yeah.
So,
I love sci-fi. I just can't get enough of it. This reminds me of the 60s, 70s sci-fi, and Don Lawrence is, of course, from the 60s, 70s. Yeah, exactly. This is old school sci-fi, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. Do you have more pictures of Roland?
But just Google Storm Dan Lawrence, and give yourself an evening, and get a boner, and I don't know what you want to do with it, but it is right. Beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It also you can get it in America, I believe. It's not the printed versions are pretty expensive. There's donlawrence.com, his own web shop, but it's expensive. But I believe you can, with a little bit of luck, find it somewhere.
Yeah.
Sure. Right. Okay. Let's see. Shall I show a few things from our own country?
Well, what do we
go
have?
for it? Yeah.
Well, for instance, we have in the Perfect 10 campaign, you have additional stickers you can get. Yeah. And those are drawn by René Bergmans, and he is a comic book artist, and he draws, for instance, this Sphinx. Let me see if I can enlarge myself here.
Is that with the chibi stickers? Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's the same style. You recognize it immediately, and it's basically for girls.
I recognize the bisexual lighting and colors.
Yeah, well, it's not that bad,
No,
but this is typical René style, and these are books you won't find outside of the Netherlands, really, because they won't get translated. Then we have things like this. Joop Klepzeiker.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Put it away.
This is really weird, man. It's really grows. It's about this loser, and he goes through life getting bullied and trying to get laid, and it's
the artist grows too.
yeah, the art is very gross, but very well done. It's deliberately
it's not untasteful.
gross.
It's not untasteful. Is it black and white what you have?
No, it's not black and white. It's all color.
Okay.
And it's very colorful, you see, but it's very violent. It's there's a lot of blood and shit and sex and
what can't be.
And it's really ridiculous.
Not allowed.
It's ridiculous, man. But
yeah,
I really love this. And in the same vein, you have books like this from Hein de Kort. This completely the opposite from Storm. You know, this is very sketchy and scribbly,
but
and
the humor oh man,
but it's so freaking funny, man. It's all done with aquarelle paint.
Yeah,
you know. So
if you see this, you probably have an aneurysm because what's going on the page.
I love it, man.
Yeah, the humor is out of this world. It's you know, double R rated. Let's.
Yeah, you can barely see what's going on, but it's so much fun to read.
Yeah,
I love these books, man.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to a person that they gave me a comic that gave me a very European feel.
Right.
And it was an Indiegogo campaign, and he's coming from America, and his name is Matt Crux. He made this Kyrie.
Yeah.
Smaller. It's not really. It's more like square instead of a big. But Kyrie is very European-like style, although he has a very distinctive art style that you love. But for instance, the colors are very saturated. So it's not really. Let's say like this. So this is based in the Macedonian times, and it's more like a Indiana Jones-esque, if you will, with a group of people, and the colors and the art style is very, I call it floaty. It's very hard to see sometimes, and like I said, you have to like it, but the art is very unique, if you will, and the colors as well. And I didn't imagine that a American writer, also artist, can make something like this. And he blew me away with all the detail in this comic, and with the detail, I mean not the detail that we see in European comics that we are used to, but more like the detail in storytelling. And although this is a very dark comic, I have also the part 2. It's very.
I almost think it should be bigger, like European format.
Yeah, and it also has the fold out, like a. Oops. He went all out on this one, man.
Oh, there's a sleeve, right?
Yeah, the sleeve, and it's more like he has a map here, and this is more. Let me show me a couple. Come on. So I can't tell the story, but if you go to the Indiegogo campaign, you figure it out.
So basically, this is a non-European comic.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I made a review on my channel.
Yeah. Check out Marinus' channel.
Look up Kyrie, and you find 2 beautiful, good-looking reviews. So yeah, the art style is something you should get used to, but I was instantly in love with it because of what Matt created, and it's very, very cheap, as in really cheap, even for the US people, free shipping, etc. It's very cheap. And now he's doing Tales of Kyrie on Indiegogo right now. It's freaking fantastic. I highly recommend this book. It's thick as well.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear good things about that book.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to give a shout out to.
Cool,
I
man.
also have a few two Dutch artists. One is I don't know if he still has his project on Kickstarter, but he's called Richard Raaphorst, and probably some people know him lately because he claims that Resident Evil, the latest movie, ripped off some design characters from him.
Oh, really?
And he made a low budget horror movie in the past, which featured this character with a propeller as a head, a plane propeller. And the recent Resident Evil game, they also had a character almost similar, also with the propeller as a head, plane propeller. But he also makes beautiful comics, horror comics. Marinus should know this, being horror comic lover. And so if I can share my screen, I go to the tabs. Maybe that works best.
I got this one.
Window.
Shall we look at Marinus' book first while you look for it?
No, I already have it. I already have it here.
Okay, cool.
With sexy women, that's it.
The sexy women can wait after the gore. So I don't know if my screen is now my screen is now sharing.
Yes.
Oh man, this looks great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a kind of World War II / zombie comic, you know.
Yeah. This way of using the sound effects, that's really European. It blends in with the art. It's part of the layout. Yeah.
Before we go further, is this on Kickstarter?
I think he's on, or he was on Kickstarter. I don't know because those times are limited.
I want this.
But yeah, his art is beautiful, detailed.
What's the name of this comic?
The worst case scenario, I believe. I think it's called the worst case scenario.
Indiegogo.
No, it's on Kickstarter, probably.
Oh, sorry, Kickstarter. That's
Kickstarter. What's that?
Yeah, I think it's the worst case scenario. It's called here as well.
Yeah, graphic novelization. Oh man, it's all already over. Oh man, Richard Raaphorst.
Yeah, but I have him as a contact, so I can probably contact him if he still has some comics we can buy, or maybe it's we can buy it somewhere.
Oh yeah, man.
And he made you probably can find it online somewhere. He made a horror movie as well with this zombie experiments within the Second World War.
This is great.
Yeah. Another Dutch artist, comic book artist, is gaining a lot of traction now. Is I May de Jong, and she made this comic, Days of Sand, and it's beautiful artwork, very detailed, nice color palettes. Here, see the violence already in the page because there's a storm blowing around this guy. It's amazing artwork.
Well, looks great.
And this is another comic, I believe. I think she makes monthly or weekly comics, either on internet or on.
She's Dutch?
Yes, she's Dutch.
We need to bring her over, Dave.
Yeah.
I believe she made some storyboards. Oh, I can stop my screen. I believe she made some storyboards for the animation I'm working on now in the studio.
Really?
So maybe I can get into contact with her as well now.
Yeah, she needs to get more exposure.
Well, she already gets a lot of exposure. She's in the newspapers. She's been in the Telegraaf, big interview and things like that, because she just released this book.
Wow.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
Right.
So there are a lot of talented people here as well. The Netherlands and France,
And Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, because
So we're still waiting on the German-speaking artists.
9999. What's that? Paling and Co.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, these books crack me up, man. Crack me up.
Yeah, there's another comedy book with.
Yeah, it's like slapstick.
It's more like Ren and Stimpy, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and there was this Dutch translation. I believe the original is Italian. It's made by Francisco Ibanez. And in the early translations, they translated this guy to Paling and this guy to Co, but actually they had to be reversed. The names, it was a bit confusing. They made that mistake. In later issues, they corrected it, but it was fun. Okay, and one of my favorite artists is Chris.
Krissa. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for the crystal sword, but I couldn't find it. I have it somewhere, but he made more. So he made things like Atalante. It's beautiful, man. I really love this art.
What you see on the cover is what you get inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's this Mayan-esque type of feel to it.
Yeah. Krista can draw women beautifully. Very simple, very feminine, if you will. Strong, heroic. And as you can see here, very sexy.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. I love this artist.
And Jim Cox thinks that we are probably just a bunch of perverts here, talking about naked women all the time, right?
Why? Because we like beautiful women.
We like naked women, Jim.
Well, oh yeah, Canary, yeah.
What's that?
I have that one too.
This is.
Is this also from Chrissy?
Yeah. Look at this beautiful drawn women artwork. This is amazing. This is more painted. I don't know.
Yeah, these sceneries, man, is fantastic.
I need to absolutely go back to fantastic comics, man. It's a long time that I collected them, but I have no time to read it.
This is like still from a a cartoon, Disney cartoon.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
Gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, but Chris is also internationally, right? So he's all over the world. So not only in the Netherlands or in Belgium or in France.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one.
All right. That's from him.
It's from the same, right? Can you see? And this
is very busy.
Really different art. It's a bit difficult to point at the camera.
Yeah, as you can see, the panels, there's a lot of panels in one page. There's a different kind of flow style. The colors are different. The art is, of course, different. But, it's more an adventure and storytelling with a lot of great action pieces.
Yes, because the pages are bigger. So the storytelling gets a different dynamic. You want this little page turner.
Well, nowadays, they are translating some American comics, the superhero comics, and publish them on a bigger size than the normally one. Mm-hmm. It doesn't do it any good, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't work.
I got it too, Jim. Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, I saw your review.
Sexy women. Absolutely.
Okay, man. Well, we showed many European comics.
Yeah, we need to How do you say it?
This is just a small selection that we happen to have or know, but there are so many books, man. It's hard to keep up, you know. But there's something for everyone.
I mean, I think this is a very toxic word, but I think there's more diversity in comics coming from Europe.
Yeah.
For everybody, like Dave says, for everybody, there's for girls, for people who like horror, for people who like detective stories or World War stories, or for everybody, there's a really the same demand, or on these stories, and not only superheroes, not only science fiction or tentacle sex comics. There's more variety.
Yeah,
it is. The variety here is way bigger. Although we have less superhero comics, and we have more like what we showed you here today. More like adventure. One or two guys going off investigating in a science fiction setting or a fantasy setting or in a Mayan setting or whatever. But it's more
historical. A lot of historical
as well. Yes, that's a good one. Like in Egypt or in space or in France. And we have also more, depends on the artist, quote unquote, realistic settings. Even Chrissa has quote unquote realistic settings, although he has a very cartoonic style. And
welcome, Max.
Perfect time to get in.
Yeah. You missed the
yeah, we just had an hour before only showing pictures of tentacle sex, but
you missed it, man. You have to rewatch.
You missed it.
You need to watch the whole video again.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get this market when you have creators that do what they want, that can make whatever they want.
Yeah,
they get this market of such a variety of comics that everyone can find something they like, and what you don't like, you just ignore. And the corporate comics from America nowadays, these superhero books, they want every specific book to be for everyone, and this is impossible. Then you have to neuter everything. You have to take everything out of it. That can be mildly provocative.
Yeah.
So you get these bland comics that no one likes. So European comics, man, there's fantastic stuff there.
And I believe there's only self-censorship. The artist can choose what to put in the comic. Right. And if it's a lot of violence, it's his prerogative, or if it's a lot of nudity, it's her prerogative. It's
we can handle nipples.
Yeah, and still, we are mature enough to conduct our own censory. Basically, if we do like Dave does in his comic, Perfect 10, he could have chosen to depict everything, but Dave chose, no, I want to have it in this way. It's his style, and it's his story. So that's self-censorship. I'm sorry?
Look at this misogynistic, over-the-top sexy pose that you could have drawn her differently, Dave. I mean, you could have done that differently, More clothing, She's way too sexy.
She's covered, man. What else do you want from me?
Yeah, but no. She's skin tight.
Right.
I mean, look at here with Battle Knight and Knuckle Bomb.
Oh, that's cool.
Way too sexy, man. Look at that. Boobs too big, too feminine.
I still needs to get that one.
You need to get rid of all the boobs and the skin tight clothes. You need to get the head shaved, right? She needs to be black. Also trans. Do a little bubble here. Like that. I'm sarcastic, right? But now,
where are her organs? Yeah.
Why are the boobs always so big? Because European comics usually have a different, they're maybe normal. but then it's I like the art style, but not everybody. It's not everybody cup of tea.
Well, to be honest,
but
yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting you the whole time, Roland.
No, that's okay. I'm doing it to you as well. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So this is an Indiegogo campaign that I have not read. This is an anthology, but it's basically European-like. Jesus, the light.
No, I just
it's the
get
foil.
it out of the plastic. Yeah,
it's the plastic foil, man.
Oh yeah, you are right. Let's put it out of the plastic first.
Here we go. It's unwrapping live.
So it's Speed of Light. It's European size comic, by the way, but it's an anthology with black and white art. So it has nothing to do with European artists or something, I believe. I could be wrong. Well, Garcia Ruano, Rodriguez. No, probably not.
Well, yeah, Portuguese, Spanish.
Spanish here and there.
Maybe could be Latin American.
Yeah, it could be. We have, it was very big. It looks, I'm not sure if I'm going to review because it's very short stories. It has sci-fi. It's a sci-fi anthology book, if you will. And that's, I believe, 9 stories. Looks great, by the way. Looks really good. Different artists, different storytelling. There's here's the science fiction part. Let me go. Gonna skip a few bit. The last one is really cool. It's called skipping. Sorry. This looks great. Here. It's more like a horror science fiction. Look at that.
Right.
I don't feel this is is American style of comics.
No, maybe an amalgamation or something. I guess. Not entirely sure. But there's going to be a part 2 because there's also sequel things in here. Like part 1 of a story and 1 of 3. So it's big.
Yeah,
I like that. And the comic that I'm doing, we are doing, Blackhart Manor, is also this size. Yeah, it's not. I'm the co-writer. The next one is I'm writing with. Maybe I should tell that a little bit later. But let's say I'm going to do a floppy. Although, I like the size of this. So
yeah, it's nice, man.
Maybe, just maybe. So yeah, the cover sells it all, right?
Right. Just the cover, man. Yeah. When I have when the entire story for Perfect 10 is complete, I want to bundle it, collect it in a larger format with hardcover. I want to make it something special, so give it that European flavor. Yeah. So we'll see, man.
What is Saul saying? What, doing a floppy? What's that supposed to mean?
Okay, let's see if we missed some comments that we...
Are you yanking my chain?
What's this? So Ian Michael Goetze is a German comic book artist who comes to mind. Did a lot of classic stuff. Flintstones, The Time Machine, Master of the Universe, space series called Nick, Corwin, and more.
I have an example of him as on the share screen here.
Really?
Right. Oh, cool. Roland is very fast, man. Check this out.
I think this is, but it's a 70. It's an older style artists.
Zeitmaschine, time machine, Flucht in die Sumpfe, flight in the
in the swamp.
In the swamp. That's it.
Yeah.
Almost got it.
I'm googling German comic books, but most of them are funnies or translations. Die Spine. I don't know a lot of original German comic books.
No, me neither. That's strange. Let me see. Did we miss something else?
think there are. Not George Orwell. Oh, this is a comic based on George Orwell.
Shameless plug here from Brazilian Dave. If you want to see a good mix of styles,
plug your comic. Just do it.
Sure, man. It's allowed here. Check out Twisted Fairy Tales on Indiegogo. Anthology with numerous artists from around the globe. Something for everyone, and it has boobs. We're sold, man. Sold.
Well, that's a very shameless plug, I have to say.
I love it. I love it. We are Europeans. Well, we are shameless sometimes. Well, most of the time. I am.
What's this? Die Spinne is just
Spider-Man.
US Spider-Man translated.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget the hyphen between Spider and Man. Come on.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah, they were called in the Netherlands. They were translated in the 70s as Spinnemon.
Spinnemon, yeah.
Spinnemon. I have some hidden here behind my back. The old Spinnemon. I'm sharing a cover of a German magazine or a comic. I don't know, but I like the art. And Dave, we had a German artists when we were making comics in the 90s.
Right, Martin Jablonka.
Yeah.
And Andreas Heinze.
Oh.
I kind of lost touch with them, but they did some cool work. Yeah. So.
But we're missing a lot of art, comic art. Maybe our interest or our bubble is not big enough. But yeah, let's look for some German artists and comic books.
Yeah. Right. Well, there's already so much, man. When I walk into the comic book store now, then it's a small section of American comics, and then a really large section of manga, and then all the tables are all the European books displayed, and there's a lot. So and I like to check out more of that. There's a lot of good material in there. So.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to look for the meta barons.
Meta barons, oh yeah.
Yeah. Darksyde's version.
Yeah, good luck finding one.
Yeah.
Reasonable price.
Oh man, you can sell it for a gazillion bucks.
Yeah, I like I said, I was pretty lucky. I paid, I believe, 150 euros for that.
Oh wow, that's cheap, man.
Yeah. I was very lucky.
Good deal.
Now you can get it. The cheapest one is now, I believe, Dave said, Brazilian Dave says, $200. But yeah, you can always get the cheaper ones through various comic stores. Yeah.
All right. So we can list some books we recommend, and we put some links to them in the description to our video. I will do that later. Right. Okay, cool. So Marinus, what else you got planned for do you have streams for next week or something?
No, I'm pretty busy, a little bit too busy. Like I said, I'm just renovating my house here, and it takes up a lot of time. I barely can make reviews on my channel. Today was the first one in 4 days because, like I said, I'm too busy. So no streams for me yet. I'm still busy writing, finishing touches. I'm pretty done with the newest comic that I planned. I just need to iron out the little bit of the kinks. Is
that the same comic we discussed?
Yeah.
Right.
It takes a little bit of time to go back to because my personal life gets in the way.
Of course.
And Rod Looper, who's now doing the Black Tiger thing, he's still busy, so I have a lot of time left. So no pressure here.
Right, man. Cool. So, Roland, what are your plans for next week?
For next week? You're talking what I need to do next week? Oh, I'm Dutch. I should know. Okay. Next week, my son's birthday is up, so we'll do that. And furthermore, I don't have any plans. The coming week is only working on the animations. We're on episode 6 right now of 8. Cool. So
can people already see it somewhere?
Yes. The first season you can find the series on Amazon Prime. It's called Undone, and it's directed by a Dutch director called Hisko Hulsing. A lot of animation is done in Texas and here in the Netherlands,
And
the
what
big
is it
studio.
what
I'm
is
sorry?
What is it exactly? An animated shorts, or is it?
It's an animated series, 8 episodes.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's quite cool. It's the onderwerpen, the subjects, like it's about depression and schizophrenic, or
Wow.
or is that the girl is suffering on these diseases, or is she developing superpowers?
Cool.
So it's a kind of, you don't know what's going on there.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, man.
Hello, Dean.
Hello, Didi.
Hi.
Just in time to catch the ending,
But you can
like I do with Comics NATO all the time. All right, guys, it was another good chat. So, like Soul Iron says, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. Thanks a lot, Marinus and Roland, for being with me today. And
My pleasure.
And let's do this again soon.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Thanks
See you later.
for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Bye.
watching. Bye.